Hi friends, I know it's not Christmas yet, but as a crafter, I've got to start early getting ready for a fall and Christmas craft show that I do. So I always start Christmas early. So Christmas comes early at My Whimsical Day. This is Tammy with My Whimsical Day. Let's make this cute little vintage, kind of a little bit on the rustic side Santa Claus. So I begin by painting this wooden spool in the color True Burgundy by Folk Art Paint. It's just regular acrylic paint. And I'm just using a round sponge brush that I get on Amazon that comes in a big package, I think of 30. And I think there's 4 different sizes of little brushes. Use these all the time. I'm just going to give that a quick dry, and then I will set that aside. And then we're going to paint most of this wood block I also get on Amazon. It is 3 inches by 5 inches by 1 inch deep. And I'm going to paint that Folk Art acrylic paint in the color Vintage White. I'm just getting most of the front and the sides. I'm not getting up as high because I know the hat will cover that part. And I didn't worry about painting the back. I didn't think that was necessary on this. So I'll dry that quickly. This is MDF wood and it really soaks up the paint and then it dries quick on it. So it didn't take very long at all. I'm just getting the other side. Then I will touch up the front a bit too. My paint is almost gone, but I want to make sure I get the last little bit out. And dry that last little bit again too. So I have some white faux fur that I get on Amazon, and it is white. But I cut off a piece today big enough to go around this, and I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll finish on that in a minute. So right now I'm gonna, I put some wood type bond glue there, and then also hot glue for the instant hold. And then that wood glue will give it a more solid, secure hold. And I was showing you that I got a half wood bead out. But this is the faux fur I was telling you about. And I dipped this piece in coffee water today because I was coffee staining some fabrics. And so I went ahead and coffee stained this. And it worked pretty good. It got it an off-white. And it made the ends a little bit stiffer than I liked, but it worked. I was able to cut off some of the stiff stuff at the bottom. So I had a little piece left there, and so I cut it in half, and that's going to be Santa's mustache. So I'm beginning by gluing this faux fur on, almost halfway, not quite halfway up. Obviously, this is his beard. And you can arrange his beard and kind of fix it later. That's what I'm going to do. So now I'm mixing a little bit of Vintage White paint with I got way too much pink out, but just a kind of a light pink. I'm just going to take a tiny dab of that and mix it with that Vintage White. Make enough so it's just pale pink for his cheeks. Then I got this little round sponge brush, and I get the entire flat bottom covered, and I'm giving him 2 pink cheeks. I might have been able to even put a little bit more pink in it. It doesn't show a lot, but it definitely shows his rosy red cheeks. And I probably should have painted his nose the same rosy red pink, but that's just the regular. In fact, I did here. That's right. I put a little bit on my fingertip and got a little bit of pink on his nose too, just to blend it in with his rosy cheeks. And that is just a half wood bead. So now I'm going to kind of arrange these pieces and make his mustache. So I'm going to glue it on right in the center under his nose. And I will play with that and arrange his mustache more as we go along. Right now I just got his mustache glued on, so we'll go from there. So it's starting to look like him, like a Santa. So these are my Bedham acrylic markers. These are acrylic paint, but just in a marker. So handy, and these are dual tip. So I'm using the fatter end to draw 2 circles for his eyes, and then the finer tip for his eyebrows. And when that's dry in a little bit, I will go back and put some white dots in his eyes. So now I was trying to debate between the burgundy or the green fabric for his hat, and I went with the burgundy. So I was just making sure it goes around, so I knew where to cut it. And I'll glue that at the top all the way around his head, ending in the back, meeting up in the back. Just want to secure that on really well so it doesn't move and go up. And then I finished gluing those together, made a seam with hot glue. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to stuff it or not, but I decided just to use some cotton balls and stick way down in there next to the wood, just to give his hat a little bit of lift. I'm just poking it down with some scissors and then just kind of gathering it there and then bending it down where I'm going to. Just wanted to see where I put it. And I also coffee stained some of this, it was white chenille yarn that I got at Hobby Lobby, but I coffee stained this, and this turned out perfect. I love it. It's just kind of slightly grungy and off-white. Go around all the edge of that fabric to make his hat. I'll just cut that off where it meets in the back. I'm going to put a little bit more glue and just make sure that's secured. Super cute so far. So I keep playing with his mustache. Wasn't sure how I wanted it to go. But like I said, now I'm just kind of playing with the hat. I'm going to tie the end with some twine. I'm using this thin twine that I get on Amazon. I think it's a 2 millimeter, maybe even a 1 millimeter, but I think it's 2. But I just like this thinner stuff most of the time better. So I'm adjusting the hat and seeing where it needs to be glued down. I'm going to tie that some more and tying in a bow in the front. Cut some of that excess fabric off. So I need it glued down a little bit more. I'm going to get a rusty star out. Here I'm tying the bow. I'll trim those tails. I'm putting a big dab of glue right there below the twine bow. I'm going to stick that rusty bill on there. And I get, so here's I'm doing 2 little dots in each eye with the white fine tip end of the acrylic marker. And I get these Christmas picks. Got tiny little pine cones and berries, some greenery on it. Get these on Amazon. I'm just gluing one just above the brim of the hat there really well. And I think that looks really cute. Kind of finishes the look of his hat, that's for sure. And I knew I wanted a little tag and a rusty pin on him somewhere, and I decided to go and put it on his beard. So here I'm just kind of trying to cut at a slant a little bit, that fur. It was hard to get him even. Here I can see I need to really secure that up at the top of the mustache. And that looked a lot better. So I'm getting a little bell and a rusty pin out, but I ended up not using the rusty bell. And these are some of the printable tags I have in my Etsy shop. There's all kinds of, in fact, it's a huge listing. It's got 795 printable tags in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and everything you need for all kinds of holidays and seasons and themes. And this one just says, I believe it says Season's Greetings. And I trim it down a little bit, and then I use my corner rounder. That's where I trimmed it down a little bit, so I'm rounding those corners. And I'm just using Distress Ink by Tim Holtz in walnut stain color. This is my new favorite. I've been using this on everything. So I'm just, was going to punch a little hole, but I decided I didn't need to do that because it'll have the little pinholes. It was kind of hard to get those pins through that thick craft cardstock. That's where I decided not to use the teeny jingle bell. As soon as I get that through and the pin done up, I could see it was kind of loose on the beard, so I do put a little dot of hot glue just to secure it on there and make sure it stays on. But first I'm tying a little tiny twine bow. I'm going to put that just on the top corner of the tag right above the safety pin, rusty pin. So that's where I'm decided I better put a little dab of glue underneath and then a little dab on top for my bow. And then off camera, I used my Distress Ink and just got the sides of the wood there, side of his face, just kind of define those edges. But he turned out super cute. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and you have a whimsical day.